Alright, so just in case you've been living under a rock, the new-ish movie Kpop Demon Hunters has taken the internet by storm. Now, when this movie first came out and people were saying it was good, I immediately brushed it off. I unfortunately made the mistake of not getting past the movie title, and I just forgot about it and didn't watch it. However, a few weeks ago, I finally decided to watch it, and oh my gosh, this movie's actually good. And I can't remember when, but at some point when watching the movie, I was like, it'd be cool if these weapons were in Terraria. And I think it's because one of the reasons why the movie is so good is because it's just so visually cool. I think it's something that people really don't talk about, or at least I don't see them talk about. Sure, the plot is good, sure, the music is good, but the movie is visually stunning. And so I was like, yeah, those would be some cool weapons to have in Terraria. So that's what this video will be, me showcasing these weapons that I made. So like I just mentioned, I wanted to make these weapons visually pleasing. That's kind of the main focus of these weapons. Because there are so many weapons and mods in Terraria, I had to make something that stands out a little bit. And also, I wanted you to be able to use these weapons as a player, and so I decided you can craft these right before you take on the Moon Lord. All these weapons take some kind of rare item, and you combine them with the different fragments, so you can basically use them for the Moon Lord fight. But what I also did was I made them get buffed after you beat the Moon Lord, so that way you can keep using them past the last stage of the game. If there's maybe a mod pack you're playing where the game progresses past Moon Lord, like my mod is supposed to at some point. By the way, if you want to test out my mod, it's called the Tesseract Mod. So, visually pleasing, actually usable for Terraria, and I wanted some unique functionality. So, each weapon has a primary left-click attack. Oh, spoiler alert on the weapon there. And it also has a right-click attack. Also, each weapon levels up in 3 stages. Now, there's probably some Kpop Demon Hunter fans out there that know everything about the lore already, but from what I was seeing in the movie, the weapons kind of start off pink, you know, that's kind of like their primary power, and then as you level them up, they turn blue. And that's kind of like, oh, now they're charged by the souls. And then in the very final stages of the movie, it turns rainbow. There's all sorts of different colors. So yeah, all 3 of my weapons have 3 different stages. And it all depends on how many consecutive hits you get. So it encourages you to get up close and do some attacking to try and get some combos in so you can level up the power of your weapon. Okay, now that we've discussed the general principles of these weapons, let's actually get into the showcase. So first up, we have the lead singer and main character of this movie, Rumi. Her weapon is a sword, and from what I was looking up online, it's called the Sain-Geom. I don't know if that's how you say it. Sain-Geom. It's the internet is saying Sain-Geom. I don't know, dude. So yeah, Rumi has some very interesting attack patterns where she just kind of slashes her sword around, and also a lot of movement. You know, she's jumping out of the plane, doing some foot slashes, doing some dashes around a hallway type stuff, you know. And so, I already showcased this, but yeah, just a back and forth slashing pattern is the primary attack. Now, once you reach stage 3 after hitting several consecutive hits, you can right-click for a dash, and it will dash through enemies and do damage. Now, this right-click will also give you immunity frames, so if you're dashing through a dangerous enemy, you won't take any damage. Now, Rumi also throws her sword, so I made it so once you reach a certain stage, you can throw out a little sword that will also do some extra damage, and it will follow the mouse cursor. So basically what you can do is get up close, do a lot of damage, and then back up and let your sword do the work for you. Using the same weapon for each boss fight isn't going to be the most viable thing you can do, of course. You want to try and pick your poison for the different types of bosses you'll be fighting. And so, of course, I hope I did a good job at making each weapon unique, so I guess we can move on to the next weapon. The next weapon is Mira's Gokdo. I really hope I'm pronouncing these weapons right. It's basically just a spear-type weapon. She slashes and stabs all around. Now, vanilla spears have this kind of attack pattern where basically you just jab back and forth. Now, what you may notice though is it's pretty not dynamic. It's very fixed motions. And also, they're kind of small, so fighting the Moon Lord with a weapon like this isn't going to be too ideal. So, for the Gokdo, I took a little bit of a different approach. The weapon dynamically follows the mouse cursor, which is very nice. If you extend your mouse cursor out really far, it will reach pretty far. But that means that enemies right next to you aren't getting hit because the weapon's out so far. So you can move your mouse closer to the player and eventually start attacking people right next to you. Oh, also what you may notice with these weapons, I figured out vertex strips. Now that's a lie, I didn't actually figure them out. I figured out how to use the vanilla vertex strip rainbow rod. Actually programming a vertex strip from scratch has been difficult, but at least I can do that. just a simple vertex strip. And in case you're wondering what that is, that's that slash visual you're seeing. So yeah, her attack just jabs. You want to slash around, do some damage, and on landing hits, it will spawn stars to attack the enemy. Now, what you may notice is that when I'm on stage 1, a sound effect will play, but it won't move on to the next stage. Now, the reason why that is because you will get a buff called Parry Ready. So what you can do when you get that buff is right-click, and it will spin the Gokdo around you in a circle. That will do damage, but it will also just destroy any projectiles heading your way. Or if they do a lot of damage like death rays, it will reduce the damage of those death rays. Let's see if I can show this in action here. Let's start throwing projectiles at me, why don't you? Destroy! I mean, actually, those bubbles get destroyed anyways. That was a very bad example. Can I destroy these tornadoes, actually? Oh, you can. You can destroy the tornadoes. That's cool. There we go. Bye-bye, tornadoes. Now, they are based on damage, so if there's like a boss that is supposed to one-shot you with a certain projectile, it will probably still one-shot you, because it only reduces the damage. So if the damage is like 40,000, you're still gonna get one-shot. But yeah, also, as you level up your spear, you'll get some different attacks, like Phase 2 will spawn some different stars, and Phase 3 will actually shoot out a star projectile, which is pretty cool. So yeah, the spear does quite a bit of damage actually, just because you're focusing all your damage to one point while being really close to the target. So the idea is you would use this to take down the Moon Lord head eye, the one that shoots the death ray. Or maybe you'll be smart and you'll use all 3 weapons in unison. But what's the third weapon? Well, last, but certainly not least, we have my beautiful queen Zoe's Shin-Kal.
Hey, Zoe, don't look at me like that, man. Come on.
The weapon attack is very simple. You know, you just throw the knives either single or together at once. You could also use them for close range slashing, but at late stages in the game, that's just kind of not a good idea. So I decided to get pretty creative with these weapons. And yeah, you can just throw them. And by the way, this is what the throwing looks like. But the weapons will actually home into the mouse cursor, but when they get super close, they'll just end up following a straight path. So if they hit your mouse cursor, they'll just go straight. But if they happen to miss quite a bit, you can kind of re-coordinate and make them home back into the mouse cursor so you can hit your target. And also, I just think this looks so cool. This is not sick. I think it's pretty freaking cool. So unlike the Sain-Geom or Geom or whatever, or the Gokdo, you can actually right-click right away with this weapon. It doesn't require any special abilities. You can just hold down right-click and it will throw out several knives at once. Now these knives don't home, so basically it's a little bit of a trade-off. You know, you can either get really precise and home in with a single fire, or you can throw multiple at one time if maybe you're in close proximity to an enemy and you just want to do some major damage. You can just right-click. Now of course, landing consecutive hits increases the stats of these weapons. So if you can manage to get to phase 2, the knives home in better and do more damage. And also if you reach stage 2 and you right-click, you'll throw more knives. So instead of throwing 3, you will throw 4. And also, if you reach stage 3, the knives will go through walls. And of course, they will home in better. And you can right-click, of course. Now, one thing about these weapons is right-clicking will maintain the consecutive timer, if that makes sense. But very, very shortly. So you can see I missed one attack there and it instantly went back to level 1. So the best way to maintain your consecutive combo is to just left-click. Now, another feature about the Shin-Kal is they'll heal you. Yeah, now the left click healing is not that great, as you can see, but the right click healing actually heals more. You can see I'm healing for 9, 8, 10. So that's basically the trade-off. You can risk losing your consecutive build-up by right-clicking and then missing and oh, now you're back to level 1, but you heal for more. Or you can do some rapid damage and heal for less, while also having more control over your knives. So the idea was you could use weapons for different circumstances in boss fights. So when fighting the Moon Lord, I can use the sword to take down the primary eyes, you know? Now I'm stage 3, so let's do some dashing through the eyes. And now that top eye's open, so let's swap to the spear and get rid of those eye projectiles so I can do some movement. But oh no, now I'm taking a lot of damage, so it's time to back up and do some healing. And I try to kind of figure this out, but like the weapons like vampire knives aren't supposed to heal you when fighting the Moon Lord. However, these weapons will still heal you. I think that's okay. If you guys don't like that feature, maybe I can get rid of it. But the idea is you can use these weapons in unison instead of just picking one and running with it. Get up close and do some damage with the sword. But oh no, you start taking a lot of damage? That's okay, you can dash away and build up some health back with the knives. However, of course, the best way to know if these weapons are really usable or not is if you guys test them yourself. So I would really appreciate it if you guys maybe downloaded my mod and tried out the weapons yourself. This is just a little passion project I was working on. I literally just watched the movie and was like, yeah, those weapons are cool. I want them in Terraria. Now, right now, I can build up my weapon stats by attacking target dummies. You guys will not be able to do that. But yeah, I'm a computer science student. I like programming stuff, I guess. I specifically like working on games, and so this was just a fun little project for me. If you guys have suggestions for what I should put in my mod, I'm open to them, but I am trying to work on a boss fight, but it's hard. So yeah, thank you guys all for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little showcase, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the weapons. If you guys have suggestions, I'm open to them, so don't be afraid to leave them down in the comments. Thank you guys all for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys all in the next video. Whenever that will be. Yeah. Life of a college student.